Right. Thanks everybody for attending today's webinar. We'll be spending the first 20 minutes of it just going through the new features of our forms product, and then leave the last 10 or so minutes for any questions you may have. But just make sure to type your questions using the Q&A button instead of the chat function just at the top of your screen. But yeah, for now, I'll just hand you over to my colleague, Connor, who's going to go through our new features of our product.
Thanks, Adam. And hi, everyone. Thanks very much for attending. So yeah, as Adam mentioned, today's session really is just about showcasing some of our new features and recent enhancements that we have made to our forms application. So some of these new features have been out there for a few weeks now, so you may have seen them, but just in case, we're going to just run through them today. And some other features actually just launched today for the first time. So we'll run through those as well. So I suppose
Connor, one sec. Someone's just typed in there saying that they can't hear. If anyone else is having that problem, do you mind just typing in the chat function just to make sure that just...
Yeah, maybe one person's audio is not...
No issues with hearing. Okay.
Okay. Maybe if you want to message that person separately, Adam, but I don't think it's a general problem.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah, so I suppose the newest feature that we're kind of most excited about that we're launching today is our integration with AI, particularly with ChatGPT. So we believe this feature is going to greatly simplify the process of creating forms within our application, and it will take the pain out of that, I hope, for you. So I will just run through a few examples of that just so you can get a feel for its capability and understanding it, and we'll cover a few different types of forms in that run through. So the first thing I'm going to do is just create a new form from scratch to use it in my demo. So I'll put it into a folder called AI, and we'll call this AI demo. Okay, so let's create that. Oh, I didn't pick my form type, so okay, I need to say it's an inspection form in this case, or an audit, whichever applies, and hit update. Okay, so we now on the left-hand side here have our new form. So when we highlight it and we go to our form window on the right-hand side here, we have a new option on the toolbar called AI. And if we click on that, we basically get this little pop-up here with a prompt for what type of inspection we would like to generate. So we can put in a few different search terms here. I'm going to start off with just a few obvious examples, like an AED or a defibrillator, and hit generate. And so what it's doing now in the background is it's using the ChatGPT API essentially to go and build that form, and it's returning the data in the structure that we need for our own forms app. So you can see here the section and the question, and then we have the response type and corrective action category that we can set. So the general information, AED, and maintenance are the three sections that has returned the actual questions in. I can at the top here say, well, I want to use the same kind of step response for all questions if I want, or I can go ahead and actually change them for individual questions as well if I wanted to do that. In this case, and also I could do the same for corrective action category. In this case, I'm just going to import those as they are. It's going to overwrite my form. I'll say yes or import. And it has now built the form for me, with the questions and sections that we saw on the pop-up a minute ago. Now that we have the questions back here in our standard forms editor, we can do all the things we can normally do from the point of view of editing the form, editing the question. We can come along and do our corrective action settings now if you want, and give it a corrective action category and days to resolve and all of that. But the pain of putting in the questions, individual questions, breaking them down into sections. That was, you know, greatly removed, obviously, by the AI tool doing that work for us. It also means that, you know, from a regulatory point of view, if there are, like, for example, if I put in OSHA fire extinguisher, it's returning the steps required to do an OSHA fire extinguisher inspection. So it does make sure that the checks that you're doing are checks that will keep you compliant with the various regulatory bodies. So let me just do a couple of more examples. So if I come along here and put in fire door and hit generate. Okay, so again, you can see here, it has broken it down into sections and the various questions and checks that I should be doing when I'm doing an inspection of a fire door. If there was something here that I didn't want to bring across, so, you know, sometimes it returns questions like enter the inspector's name. Well, you know, we don't really need to do that because we will be signed in as the inspector when we're doing the inspection, so we have that automatically, or enter the date of the inspection. Things like that we can remove that don't apply before we actually go ahead and import it. It doesn't have to be regulatory type inspections. You know, really this will build any, and we had some fun during the design and test of this, but like, you know, it can be facility type inspections, restrooms, you know, is another one that, you know, it goes off, gets the questions, breaks them down into the sections it needs for that. And I suppose the one that did kind of catch our eye during testing was unicorn. I wasn't expecting a result for this one, but lo and behold, there is an inspection out there for inspecting unicorns. So I suppose this kind of demonstrates its you know, its flexibility, and it's pretty much, you know, there is nothing that we put in that I didn't come back with something for an inspection. So we're pretty excited. It's going to make your life easier, hopefully, when you're making forms, but also, you know, it's a nice feature for us to be able to show in our demos as well. So that's the AI feature. We will be rolling this out into other areas of the applications. So, for example, our hazardous waste management application, our lockout tagout application, those will we have plans for all of those when it comes to AI, and we have some additional plans around our inspections application as well. So I suppose stay tuned for those. So the other recent addition here also, and it also takes the pain a little bit out of building your forms. If you have today some inspections that you have on Excel that you want to be able to upload into our forms application, well, we now have an import option as well. So when you click on import, you basically can download the template from here, and I have one downloaded already, and I'll show you in a second, and that will download the template in the format you need, including you know, it's a smart template in the sense that it has drop-down lists for our response types, etc. So if I was to jump over to my desktop real quick and just open this forms template. So here's a template that I downloaded earlier, and I've put in some questions here, you know, question 1 through to question 8 across 3 different sections, A, B, and C, my response type. So you can see here, these are drop-down lists. So when it downloaded the template, it downloaded the template with the information, you know, for valid step responses, valid corrective action categories in the system. The, you know, yes no ones basically only allow you to do yes no. So it's an already validated upload, if you like. We know we're getting the data in the format that we need. So if I close that, won't save any changes there, and I jump back to my test here, and let's do another new form here, and we'll just call this one, we'll put it into the same folder, the AI, and we'll call this one import. Okay, I'm making an inspection form and update. So now if I select my import form here on the left, you can see I have no steps on the right. If I go ahead and do an import here and browse to my Excel file that I have on my desktop, which is this one, and upload. Okay, so it has done similar to the AI tool in that we have this pop up here, and again we can delete questions if we don't want them for whatever reason, or we can change the question or change the response type. I'm just going to go ahead and import it exactly as it is on screen. Import the questions, and again I can then make the necessary changes in here if I need to. So if I needed to change this particular question here to be a okay, not okay, rather than okay, not okay, not applicable, or whatever the case is, I can do that. So let's just select that. Okay, so that's importing, pretty straightforward, and the fact that the template can be downloaded directly from here, I think also makes it a little bit easier, because if you add a new step response tomorrow or whenever, you know, the next time you download the template, it will include that as well. So the next enhancement that I wanted to focus on is around our conditional logic. So we've had conditional logic in the application for a while, but it has been quite limited in the sense that it was, you know, only on pass fail. So, you know, if we could have had condition before where if question 1 was a fail, well then end the inspection, or if question 1 was a fail, then skip to question 3. But not every step is a pass fail. So you could have situations where you're asking what are the weather conditions, you know, and based on the response to that, you want to be able to jump to a different part of the form itself. So we have made a number of enhancements in that space. So if we click on conditional, we now have this wizard here to help us build it. So if we say new, so on the if item, we basically say which question. So this ties into the questions I have in the form behind. Apologies for selecting. So, you know, I named the questions 1 through 8, I think. So, you know, this will be the actual text of the question. So, you know, is the fire extinguisher hung in a bracket or whatever the case may be. So I can say if question 1, if it's a pass or a fail, we still have that ability. Or I can say if it equals, or I can say if it doesn't equal, you know, fire it, or always, or contains. So if there's basically, it could be multiple answers in that situation. I'm going to say equals, and let's say not okay. And then I want to go to question 3. But the other thing I can do here is scroll down and say, you know, I want to go to question 6, question 8, or end the inspection as well. So we have that capability to skip questions and go and do and end the inspection. And obviously I can have multiple steps in here for the conditional on this particular form. So I think it's a big improvement in that it's no longer just pass fail, and because there was a lot of feedback from our customers that, you know, that wasn't always how they wanted to do the conditional logic on forms. So that's conditional, and hopefully you will find that useful. The other recent addition to our forms app here is the ability to create step responses on the fly as you need them. So in the past, what you had to do was build your step responses separately to the forms, and then, you know, build your form. But, you know, that inevitably ended up in situations where you're making a form, you got to a question, and then you realized you didn't have the appropriate step response, and you have to save your form and make your step response and come back again. Now, when we edit a question, we can come along, let's say edit question 3 here. We're going to pick our step response. And I can look at my step responses here and say, okay, well, there's not one here that matches the need for this particular question. I can create directly from here. So let's say we want to have a step response, which is what's the color of something. So put in the step name color, and then down below here we'll go green as one option, and we'll actually make the button go green when they tap on that, just to have that there as well. And let's say red, and let's make the button go red when they tap on it. You can do all the usual things here, like force a photo or force a comment based on the response here, and then we just save and publish. And now that particular step response is available to me to select to use on this form. So again, it just will greatly kind of simplify that process and streamline that process a little bit better than we were doing previously for step responses. So the next one, just to show you, which is a fairly straightforward one, we've kind of touched on it already in the sense of when I was making forms, but we've introduced folders for our forms. So before, you just had basically a list of forms down the left hand side. Now you can put them into folders and organize them a little bit better than before. For anyone that was a form that was created before our new folders feature, it will be in a folder called no folder. And you can see the count of forms in each folder here. But to move one of these, let's go down here and pick one of my existing ones. Let's say fire extinguisher annual. If I select that and hit edit, I can just come along and pick the folder that I want to put that into. So, you know, and update that, and it will move it into the fire extinguisher folder. So again, it just makes it a little bit easier, and then you can do things like collapse all of your folders so you can get to the folder that you're interested in quickly. Related kind of to that as well is a feature or an enhancement that we've made that will allow us. So in the past, when we're making a change to a form, the form potentially could have been used or referenced by multiple inspections. So like, for example, a fire extinguisher monthly, you know, your fire extinguisher monthly and annual might use the same form. So when you're making changes to forms, you want to be, you know, informed about the potential implications of what will be affected by the change. So you can come along and pick a form. I had one, I forgot which one I was going to use in this demo, but I'll just pick, let's go with fire extinguisher monthly, or monthly fire extinguisher, I think, this one here. And if I, from the three dots, say usage summary. Bad example, didn't have any. I forget which one I was going to use, but basically this will show you any, I think, fire door, any form, what inspection reference the form, you'll be able to see it from here as well. Yeah, so here you go. You have, this one has been used by the annual fire door inspection and the monthly fire door inspection. So, you know, when making a change, you're aware of that. So those are the main things we wanted to cover today. It's a short 30-minute kind of just educational webinar. We wanted to leave a few minutes at the end to see if any of you guys had any questions. If you wanted us to cover anything, feel free to jump in and ask any questions. I don't know if there's any already, Adam, or?
Yeah, we have one here. Just since the AI is in forms, will it be able to be used in the audit module as well?
Yes, yeah. So it's the same forms manager for audits, inspections, and incidents. So you will be able to build a form for an audit. Obviously, just the form type is what you need to pick there as well. But yes, it's the same tool for both.
Grant. Currently don't have another question, but one question that we do get a lot is, am I able to skip an entire section while using conditional logic?
Yeah, so let me go back. Where's my form here? So if I was just to use this example again, if I go to conditional, okay, and if I say new, and I say if question one, you know, let's just do on past this time to keep it simple. I can say go to section C. So you have the sections as well as the questions on the go to drop down list. So you can skip an entire section or multiple sections depending on what you need to do.
Right. We have another question here. Can we set default values for the question 2 to question 6 when they are skipped because of conditional rules?
Say that once more. Can we set?
Can we set default values for the question 2 to question 6 when they are skipped because of conditional rule?
No, if a question is skipped, it's not answered as part of the inspection. It's there's no way currently of defaulting the answer based on the fact that they're skipped.
Okay.
That's it's if whoever asked that question, if they want to maybe just send in an email with that as a suggestion, we'll definitely consider it.
Okay. Another one, will the AI be used in Dashboard Creator as well as using it to do trending?
We have no plans right now. We've a kind of a firm kind of roadmap, which we can share with you later on a few different areas. Dashboards is not one of them right now, but again, not to say that we won't be doing it. And if there is something in particular there that you're thinking of, let us know, and we'll certainly consider it.
Okay. Flying now. Any notification set up to send email or SMS when a form is filled out?
I'm not sure what the question means in when a
So
form.
any notification set up to send email or SMS when a form is filled out. So
When a form is completed, is it?
yeah.
Yeah, so well, that's part of our it's within the inspections app itself. So we have the option when you complete an inspection that it can send an email there and then, for that completed inspection. And there's some kind of conditions that we can apply to that. For example, you might only want to send the email if it's a failure, or maybe only send it if it's a pass. And you can specify who the email goes to based on the location of the inspection. So if it was in building 1, it goes to Adam. If it was in building 2, it goes to Connor, type of thing. We do have SMS notifications in our incidents app for notifying people when there's an incident, but not currently for completed inspections.
Right. Another one here. Can the corrective actions be adjusted when developing the question as you showed in step responses, or does the user need to save form and back out of the form to set up a specific corrective action?
That's actually is in development right now. So what we've done with the step responses, we're doing the very same thing with corrective action categories, where you'll be able to from here create a new category on the fly. Okay. So not there today, but in the next few weeks.
Right, no one here. With conditional, if a specific answer is selected, can it generate certain questions based on one question answer? Question answers, I think. Do you want me to read that again?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. With conditional, if a specific answer is selected, can it generate certain questions based on one question's answer?
Well, what you can do in that situation is have multiple sections here, which potentially some of them would be hidden on the form, that they would only be showed based on the condition. So you might have a set of questions here in this section here, and if the answer to another question is A, then you get D's. If the answer to the other question was B, then you would get D's. So kind of in a roundabout way, I would say yes is the answer to that. Hopefully that answers that question. But again, whoever asked that question, if you want me to go through that in more detail, which is separately, I can do. That's not a problem.
Yeah. Currently don't have any more questions right now. Oh, actually, one popped in there. Can a folder be created with subfolders?
No. There's just a folder. The hierarchy is just on one level at the moment. So just the main folder itself.
Okay. Just if anyone has any more questions, just
well, just while we're waiting, there was one other thing I wanted to maybe show real quick on the AI side of things. So the few examples I showed you were very basic prompts. The prompts can be expanded. So like if some of you will, I'm sure, be familiar with 5S inspections. So if I put in 5S here and hit generate, so 5S, for those of you who are not familiar, is a Japanese methodology for doing workplace inspections. And the 5S, the S's are basically sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. But the reason I'm using this example is 5S, to me, I would normally expect to see 5 questions in a section there, but yet when I put it in, I just get to 2. But if I go back and close this, because I'm not happy with that, that's not the form I was looking for. And if I say with 5 questions per section and hit generate, I have to work a bit harder this time to figure it out, so it's a bit slower. But so now you can see here, we now have 5 questions in each section of the 5S inspection. So I suppose my point being, you know, you can be quite specific with your prompt, and if you're not getting what you expect, you can go back and rework your prompt to try and generate a form that's meeting your needs exactly. So it's quite powerful that way.
Yeah. Just another one here. Can we copy the folder with the forms?
No. So somebody's looking to copy all of the forms, is it?
I think so. Can we copy the folder with the forms? I would assume all of them.
Yeah, no, but maybe again, if somebody, whoever that is, wants to email me in explaining the kind of use case there, I'll chat with them and see if there's another way of doing it. But no, currently, you can only clone forms individually.
Yeah, and this one is just for someone who came in a few minutes late. But what is the knowledge base being used for the AI responses?
So I don't know if that's referring to our own knowledge base. So that's what we're currently updating our own knowledge base to reflect what we just launched today on AI. So that will be available in the coming days, but I don't know if that's what the question was referring to.
What is the knowledge base? Yeah, I can't. There's one more here. Can forms be set up with an Excel sheet?
Yeah, so that's the I don't know if that person was late, but this is being recorded, so you can look back. But yes, from the import option I demonstrated earlier on, that's importing from an Excel template.
Right.
Okay, timed nicely, I think then.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll call it at that. Just thanks everybody for attending. I'm going to be sending out the recording of this shortly. So also, if you're interested in a personal demonstration of our product, just please get in touch with me via email so I can just set that up at your earliest convenience. But yeah, thanks a million for coming today.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.